好了，OK。Hello everyone, welcome to Polkaworld broadcast. And for this episode, we invited Brian from Akala. This June, after a year of anticipation, and Jam is finally taking a shape in a tangible way. So we invited Brian and community to meet, and so everyone can gain a deeper understanding of what Jam is all about. So to start off, can you tell us about your role in building Jam and what the vibe like in the Jam developer community right now, and how has your personal experience been so far?
Brian, City of Akala. So I'm currently leading a small internal team building Gen client for the Gen price. So yeah, so currently we have, I forgot, like 30 something teams. Like we have a lot of people, a lot of different teams building this Gen protocol together. And everything is very decentralized. We organize things together. We create a Gem DAO. We have I think 2 or 3 meetup already. So I'm very impressed by the work done by everyone. We collaborate together, creating tests, share the resources, figure out things, how to do certain things. So it's a very good experience building along with those people, building the Gem together.
Okay. And cool. It's been over a year since the Gem Gray paper came out. Back in March, when Gavin visited China for Gem tour, a friend suddenly asked me, "Can I buy Gem?" That really sums up two things. I know people are very interested in it, but many still don't get what Gem actually is. So they just know it sounds important. So could you break it down for us? Is Gem a fully rewrite of Polkadot? Is it meant to completely replace the current system?
Yeah. So Gem stands for Joint Accumulator Machine, but in short, it's a internet machine in some way. Gem is built on top of Polkadot. It serves all the functionality that Polkadot currently have. It's an upgrade of Polkadot. It is redesigned and going to be a rebuild of a new Polkadot from ground up. So when we're launching Gem mainnet, it will be an upgrade of the Polkadot. So all the Polkadot relay chain itself will be replaced by the new Gem chain. But all the other power chains, including all the system power chain and community power chains, they will be just migrate from the old Polkadot relay chain to the new Gem chain without any efforts. So it'll be a seamless migration for people.
Okay. So, how do you think it will take? How long do you think it will take for Jam to be fully up and running? What are the main pieces that need to come together? And what big milestones should we watching for?
Yeah, so it's very hard to provide accurate estimation of such epic work, but like in short, but some rough estimation is that we're going to see the gray paper finalized in next quarter or so. So at that time, we will exactly know how the protocol, how everything works, and then the rest time is people actually building it. So hopefully, in 6 months or so, there will be enough clients mature enough to be launching at least a public testnet, but maybe a mainnet. I'm not very sure. Let's see. But we definitely should be able to see some internal testnets, or people are already sharing binaries of the clients that's able to run some testnets right now. Um, but that is only about the gem itself. Like for example, Polkadot is not that useful without power chains. Similarly, the gem itself is not that useful with all the servers that gem can run on. So Parity is currently building the gem servers SDK, and they will also be building, I think it will be called core chain servers, which is basically a power chain servers. They're able to run power chains. So this is another milestone to watch out. By that time, people will be able to migrate or run the power chain on the gem. Of course, at that time, ecosystem developer can using the Gen SDK to build other servers to run other applications, whatever application that you want to run decentralized.
Okay, it's like a tons of work to do. So roughly, how many people are currently working on Gem, and how do all these contributors coordinate with each other?
Um, I don't really exactly know how many people, but I will probably have, I would say 50 plus people across all the teams. Because according to, if you go to greypaper.com, there's a client session showing a number of clients or number of teams that are currently building Gem clients. And I think it's 30 something. And there are some few things are just individual developer, few things there are few more people. So
Mhm.
my rough estimate will be 50 something. And we have a few public rooms as well as private channels for collaborations. We discuss grey papers, we discuss Gem implementations, we discuss, for example, how to uh, set up the testnet, how to run a multi-client testnet, those kind of things.
Mm.
Um, we also have created a Gem DAO that currently participating Polkadot governance as well. So it's another things we are trying to see how we collaborate better.
Most of the developers are a member of the fellowship.
Not currently. Um, Eventually, when people are granted with Gem prize, then they'll get enrolled into fellowship. But right now, we have, I don't know, maybe 5 or probably more than that, 10 people from fellowship are building Gem currently.
Okay, so cool. So, will Gem be released in phases, or when might we see the first version go live, and what features will it include?
Um, it will be rolled out in phases. So obviously, the first public-ish release will be a testnet. And with different, we are going to have some public testnet for people to run try things.
Mhm.
And and then of course after testnet, where there might be multiple version of the testnet and eventually the mainnet. Once the mainnet is out, then that's probably it. Because unlike Polkadot itself, it's designed to be self upgradable. That you can the Polkadot relation is a heavier upgrade a few months every few months. The gem itself is not designed with this in mind. Once the protocol is set, it's set. So there might be performance improvement on the node clients, but the gem protocol itself, once the gray paper is finalized later this year, then everything about gem protocol itself will be finalized.
Okay, so the Gem testnet is called Gem Toaster, right?
So Gem Toaster is a supercomputer built by Parity to with 1,000+ CPUs to simulate a full Gem testnet. Um, so that might be a public testnet that are exposed for public for testing. I'm not sure, but of course there definitely will be. Yeah, anyone can just run a testnet and make it public and become public testnet. So yeah, we just see which one the people use the most.
Okay. So when once the Gem, is how will the transition from today's Polkadot to Gem actually work, and what will that migration progress look like?
Yeah, we actually already started the migrations already because the gem chain is going to replace the Polkadot relay chain. So what people are doing, the Polkadot Photoshop currently doing is that migrating all the features from the Polkadot relay chain to system power chains. So that's as how migration works being planned. So that would be like, for example, moving the staking features, moving the balance transfer features, moving the governance features to as a hub. Um, and then once all the phase one migration is complete, then the relation will become a chain that without user transitions. So user doesn't send transaction relation at all. They all using system power chains or other community power chains. And then when we're replacing the relay chain with the new gem chain, we can just kind of swap it. And the system power, all the existing power chains will just from a particular block, switching from the relay chain to the new gem chain, but just otherwise run as usual. So from users' point of view, because all the Polkadot users are users of a power chain, and power chain stays the same. So user doesn't need to do anything. Like, for example, exchanges doesn't need to do anything. Wallet doesn't need to do anything. It's only the RPC nodes or the collator nodes, the people running the nodes that will have to upgrade the nodes to the latest version supporting the gem. But otherwise, the migration is going to be very smooth and people shouldn't need to worry too much about it.
Okay, since users don't have to do anything, but once Gem is fully launched, how much of the performance boost can we expect, and how will it lower costs for developers? Can you give us a rough idea or breakdown?
It's very hard to estimate that because we don't have the thing fully running right now. Grey Paper itself have some estimated numbers. I don't have it in my mind, but you can check out Grey Paper if you are interested. But it's definitely going to be a big improvement. Like for example, because currently Wasm is used for running all the code, and that will be upgraded to RISC-V, and then the one of the reasons why people are choosing RISC-V is because it's much faster and much simpler. So that will be one area of the performance improvement. And then Gen is designed to have 341 cores to be available. Right now, I forgot how many have Polkadot have 100 or something. I forgot. So that will be the higher. So there will be a lot more cores available. For each core, it can also do a lot more things compared to the core we have right now. So it will be a very big performance improvement and a scalability improvement. And of course, once the supplies increase, the price of the cores is definitely going to be very affordable.
Okay, so like do you have a calculation like how much it's going to cost for a developer compared to
It's not really. It's very hard to because the gem itself, the gray paper defines the protocol, the infrastructure. It defines, for example, how to run things, how to how to charge gas. But what it doesn't define is the economics. It doesn't define. It defines the mechanism to sell costs, to sharing costs between different servers, but it doesn't define how to sell the course, how to like for example auction the course. So those things are not covered. So those things are what's most likely going to happen is because, as I previously said, the migration is we just transit uh, system power chain previously attaching to Polkadot relay chain, now attaching to the Polkadot gem chain. So the same core time system power chain that is currently selling cores on Polkadot will probably be used to sell cores on Genshin. So the mechanism will be the same. And then while the current core time mechanism isn't the best, and there are already RFCs discussed about improving that. So this process is still a ongoing process about determining exactly what kind of mechanism will be used to allocate the cost. So it's something people, like for example, can participate right now to join the RFC discussions to provide the feedbacks, opinions about how the Polkadot can sell the course.
Okay, cool. And I will share the the links that like the element matrix links as how to join this room later after our conversation. So people who are interested in uh, you know, diving into this question can join this group. And you know, I've heard that PVM is 20 to 50 times faster than the EVM. You know, what are the key differences between the two?
Yeah, so PVM is designed, um, the Polka VM is designed for a blockchain VMs from ground up. One of the core requirement is be very efficient. EVM, well, it's also blockchain VMs, but uh, performance is not something was considered when designing EVM.
Mhm.
The EVM is most like, for example, JavaScript. It's something relatively easy to learn and write. Um, it's not very slow because it's used so often, and then people are automate the VMs a lot. But if you want to write something performance critical, nobody is going to use in JavaScript. People are going to use Rust or C++ or something else. So similar things here. The PBN is designed with performance in mind, so it can run as fast as possible without all the limitations enforced by the EVM.
Okay. Since PVM will be based on RISC-V, so we're now seeing Ethereum move into the same direction. So why is Ethereum rewriting its virtual machine too? And what does that mean for the Web3 ecosystem?
Yeah, well, I'm not the Ethereum people made the decision, so I don't exactly know why they're making the decision. But from outsider point of view, it's very obvious. EVM is not performant enough, because like upgrading it to a proper VMs with performance in mind can easily 10 times, 20 times the gas limits, which is always good. So the upgrade makes total sense.
Mhm.
Um, no, it's also there are a lot of tools and research, especially a lot of research are being done analyzing RISC-V for blockchain use cases already now. So we all know it's definitely doable. There are pretty much no downside, and it's going to make things faster. Then it just, yeah, why not?
Why we don't use RISC-V before?
So PVM is not just RISC-V.
Mhm.
It's a flavor of RISC-V with built for Gem purpose only. So it's not like if you're taking a normal RISC-V program, it's not going to run, but you need to using some special tools to translate it to the PVM format. So one of the reasons why is because PVM is built the PVM is included in the gray paper. So gray paper covers the whole details of PVM. So everything is built for the for the gem in mind. So all the like, number of registers, all the instructions, etc. They're all designed to work inside gem. Uh, so um, we are currently like building Gen clients and obviously going to do a lot of testing, try things, and then with the feedbacks, we're going to iterate and improving what we have so far. So PVN spec right now is not finalized. It's constantly upgrading
Mhm.
based on the new feedbacks we gathered from running the tests. Um, so it's not like we don't want to do it today, but it's we are working on it, and there are still a lot of optimizations coming down. And another thing is that, for example, people are working on is determine the gas models of the PVM.
Mm-hmm.
So measuring precisely the gas usage of certain instructions. And that is not easy. That is almost impossible in Watson, for example. That's one of the reasons why party people decide to stop using Watson and choose PVM and RESPA instead. So those are a lot of hard questions are not yet answered. We believe there's a good answers, but we still need to spend time and research to find out the best answers for us.
Okay, cool. Do you think Polkadot RISC-V based PVM will launch before Ethereum version? From a developer's point of view, could Polkadot end up being a kind of a testing ground for Ethereum apps?
Um, it's definitely possible. I have no idea how long it takes for Ethereum to upgrade to REST 5 because they they also needs to be backward compatible, and there is a lot of legacy to deal with, which makes upgrade much harder. Polkadot is much better shape because we suppose runtime upgrades. So the power trends, for example, right now it's using Wasm, but they can just runtime upgrade to using REST-V instead. So we don't need to, for example, running Wasm inside REST-V, which is possible, but it's not going to be fast. It's definitely possible to run EVM inside REST-V VM, but they're just going to be slow. And then for Ethereum, I don't think it's really possible to require to somehow have in the old contracts, for example, supply a new REST-V based bytecode. That's just not going to happen. So I don't know how they're going to solve this. And yeah, there's a lot of hard problems to be solved for Ethereum for the upgrade.
Yeah, cool. And there is another word that very hard to understand, which is a core play. So what's the relationship between core play and PVM?
Yeah, so core play is, I said, let me step back a bit. So one of the breakthrough that Gem enables is decentralized non-blockchain application.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, on every smart contract platforms we have, they are all blockchain programs. All the contracts are built with blockchain in mind and built for blockchains. So one very simple example is that you cannot write a while loop forever. You cannot just the code runs forever. It will be eventually out of gas, and then the transaction will fail or something going to happen on every current smart contract platform. On Gen, that is not the case. You can just write a program that runs forever. It doesn't need to know there's blocks. It doesn't need to know that. Well, someone need to pay for the gas, of course, but the program itself doesn't need to know there's a block that you only have 6 seconds of execution, for example. You can just run there forever. So that makes new ways of writing applications, decentralized applications. So it doesn't need to be limited by the concept of block. So another example is that if we need to do certain compute heavy calculations, we have to break down into a lot of small tasks or small steps and run each step at a block and then do this big task over, say, 50 blocks. But with Gem, you can just run it and that's it. Um, it the core play servers will break the execution across multiple blocks because in the end, Gentry is still blockchain. But from the programmer's point of view or from the developer's point of view, this thing just runs until it finishes. It doesn't need to worry about blocks. What exactly going to happen is that the core play servers is going to run a program, and when the gas is almost used up, when the 6 seconds is almost used up, it will hibernate the program, basically save on the memory to the data availability layer, and then save it, basically freeze the application, save it, and on the next block takes the memory out, restore them back to the memory, and resume the program. It's just like when your laptop, you shut down laptop, you hibernate your laptop, you open up, it just continue to run the program as it's used to be. The similar thing happens for the Gen application. So for the core play applications, you can just use it to run a game or any programs that doesn't need to know there's a concept of block. And you can just run, and the core play servers handles all these things for you.
Okay, cool. Can I understand like this way? Let's say if PVM is like a computer, then CorePlay is the software deploying on the computer, and
Yes.
Ethereum.
So core play is more of like the operating system. So the Gen is the hardware, the core play is the operating system, and the program running inside the core play is the program.
Okay, okay, cool. It's like yeah, cool. It's easy to understand. So the Web3 Foundation has pledged $10 million to support the development of a validator client for Jam. So the first milestone is due in June. A validator client is the software that runs a network node, right? So why are 38 teams working on different versions of essentially the same software?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So first thing, client diversity is very important, because right now Polkadot itself is not very, doesn't have good client diversity. So I don't have a number in my head, but probably 90% plus of the validator nodes are running the party Polkadot client. And that means if this client have a bug or something, uh, the network will have to go with this client, which is not good. So that's why client diversity is very important. We want to make sure there's no single client have more than 33% of the share. So if a bug exists in a single client, it's not going to cause trouble because other clients will just ignore this client and continues. So it's going to be very unlikely to have a bug impacting multiple clients, because people building this individually, independently, then it's very hard for them all of them make the same mistake. So that's why client diversity is needed. And then we want the Gem to be as decentralized as possible. So we don't, like, for example, want to only you and you can build a client. That's obviously not the best approach. So I don't think that Web3 Foundation were initially anticipating that many teams join. So it's kind of a surprise for them as well, because Gab mentioned this multiple times. Like, he is very surprised with that many people interested. But still, it's not the best thing. Not the bad thing. We're going to, not all of them are going to finish the all 5 milestones. But for things that didn't finish all of them, the work is still going to be used for, like, because that we're building this on different languages. Then if you want to doing gems on different language, there's already probably someone already have something for you on that language. So this is good. And then for implementation building the same language, that having more choice is also good. That people can choose the one works best for them as well, the one with the best qualities, or the one they are most using the similar dependencies, for example. It's the main that blockchain is about decentralized technology. A lot of it is about redundancies. Like, we don't just run everything on a single server. Similar things happens here. We also make the cloud implementation a bit redundant. Like, maybe not all of the work will be used, but redundancy is essential requirements to unlock the true decentralized collaborations.
Okay, it sounds like the incentive is huge. So can you break down for us like how much could a team get for when they finished all the milestones?
Yep. So there are 5 milestones, and for each milestone is up to 100K dot. So for a single team, the maximum reward they can get is 500K dot. But of course, is that the prize pool is fixed size, so it's also a first come first served approach as well. So you want to be fast, but also there are 4 different language set. So the prize pool is shared between language sets. So let's encourage people to build using a language that is less used. So, like for example, not everyone is using Rust and C++ or Java to build the client. And then because it's milestone based, so for people complete a milestone, they will get the dots for them. So while probably most of the thing are not going to get a full price, but hopefully most of them will still get at least the first or second milestone prize for them.
Okay, cool. So the after so can other new teams still join this enterprise right now?
Yeah, people can always join as long as the prize pool is not emptied. You can always join, but of course you're facing the risk of because this is first come first serve approach. Um, but later joiners also have slightly advantage that a lot of mistakes people already been already stamped home. The gray paper is when the first release is like 0.4, now it's 0.66. So there's a lot of upgrades of gray papers, and then things have to, when gray paper changes, we need to change our code to match in the new gray paper. But if you
Mhm.
join now, yeah, if you join after gray paper is finalized, then it's not going to change. You don't need to, follow up with the latest gray paper changes.
Okay, cool. Okay, to sum up our broadcast, the last topic we're going to touch on is, looking ahead. What kind of impact do you think GEM could have on Web3 as a whole, and what big changes or disruptions might bring to the industry?
Yeah, it's very hard to, you know, tell how exactly it's going to be impact,
Mhm.
but it's definitely have a very big potentials because Polkadot kind of already solved the scalability problem, but it doesn't solve a lot of other hard problems, and that's one of the reasons why Geth created Gem to solve all the problems that Polkadot failed to solve. So it's definitely have the proper potentials to build a truly decentralized applications, not just applications, but decentralized suite of applications. Like for example, in Polkadot, we have power chains. While power chains they have XMP talk with each other, it's still a question communication, but hard to use. But with Gem, then we have a synchronized composabilities. So we don't need to have a concept of chain. We are still the part if for the chain is running fine, they will be just running chain as fine. But we don't need to have concept chain. We have a lot of other non-chain servers going to be available. So that makes a lot of problems that previously just very hard or impossible to do now much easier. And then even for chains that we can do like synchronized question invocations. So we can do things like, for example, flash loan, question flash loan that was not possible elsewhere. So that makes a lot of interesting use case possible. So, but to fully leverage this amazing potentials that requires not just people building gems we have currently right now. It requires everyone, to think about how they can leverage those new capabilities to solve the problem, and how can they integrate gem with the current workflows to make it better. So there's a lot of work required for the whole industry to work together to actually bring in real impacts to the world.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. I think that's all for our broadcast today. And thank you, Brian, for sharing. And thanks for audience for being here and be supportive for Polkaworld. And we will keep updated for GEM's development. And you can follow Brian, follow Akala, and follow Polkaworld to keep updated for everything about Polkadot and GEM. So thank you. See you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye bye.